It wouldn't be one of my videos if it didn't take me multiple tries to get it the way I wanted, and if the card didn't run out midway through shooting, so I have to start again since one, I didn't really like how the other one was going, and I don't really remember where I stopped because I rambled. Hey guys, it's Elle Hayes. Welcome back to my channel. So this is not part 2 of streaming yet. I promise that's in the works. I just have so much research to do again on these videos. I want to do it right, you know, so that'll be out soon. This video I actually mentioned in the streaming video, part 1. I wanted to talk about respect in this industry. That may seem like kind of a bizarre topic to do for an entire video since respect, duh. But I think it's important to kind of dive into why respect is super important in this field and why so many people are lacking it. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'd initially planned half this video out, and that was on the side that I knew more about. I had watched a lot of people my age, you want to call them millennials, you want to call them young guns, whatever floats your boat. I'd watched a lot of them being very disrespectful to the vets, the people who've been in this field for a while and had earned their spots in this field. I have watched as people not only spoke down to those that came before us, but would try to correct them on things. Yes, there are times when a newer person in the industry may be right about something. Of course, everyone's an individual, that can easily happen. But there's almost an arrogance that tends to come with it when I viewed someone correcting those that I would consider masters at their art. I do believe that everyone's always learning, and that's something super important to take into account, especially in a field like this. I think a lot of people missed out on very important mentorships that would have prevented them from becoming a little too big-headed for themselves. I was really lucky getting into this industry. I worked with a variety of different people, and all in different parts of the industry. I think I've mentioned it before, but I've been in management, I've been in booking, I've been in promotions / marketing, I've been in teching, and I've been in very basic audio engineering. I was very new to that. But I've had a taste of kind of a little bit of everything, which I think gave me a nice, well-rounded view of the industry as a whole. Because of all the various hats I've worn in the field, I think it first of all gave me respect for each piece of the puzzle that helps make everything happen in this field. I respect the managers, I respect the tour managers, I respect the merch people, I respect the roadies, the techies, the audio engineers, the promoters, the bookers. I respect every tier because I've seen that it takes each piece to make all of this happen and be successful. And I've seen disrespect either from people who don't understand what each piece does and how they actually impact the rest of this, or I've seen people being disrespectful because they either never had to work really hard to get where they are, or they didn't ever really have humbling experiences, mentorships, internships, working for free. Yeah, I know for the majority of people, you're gonna have to do that in this field. That's just kind of the standard. But I've watched a lot of people who seem to have skipped those steps, which is great career-wise for them. I'm not shitting on anyone who can get to where they want faster. That would just sound like jealousy, which maybe you think that's all this video is, and that's fine by me. However, I do think there were very important lessons I learned by doing free internships, being mentored by people, really being brought down to the lowest level and learning basic skills and being humbled by them before I was able to kind of move up the ranks a little bit in the field. One of my first mentors ever was the TM for a pretty big Latin artist, and One of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me was, in this field, if you're told to go gaff tape, duct tape the ground for spotting and prepping for where an artist needs to stand during a show, you need to do that as if it's the most important job at that show. You need to do it so well that no one notices it. And that might seem counterintuitive and frustrating, but if no one notices it, I did my job right. And that was something really important that was instilled in me at the very beginning of my career, which some of you may not call it a career, but that's okay. My journey, how's that? I then did a bunch of free internships like many people did. I think in particular what benefited me is I worked for people who, A, had been working in the field a very, very long time, and or B, had worked their butts off to get to where they are. I didn't only work for people that were much older in the field who had been doing this for decades and saw the height of music, saw the downfalls of music, had to switch and make it with the times. I've worked for those people. I've also worked for incredibly powerful individuals that felt the rejection of the industry numerous times and still fought to get to where they are. And that's very inspirational and motivates me every day. When I worked for Shabu, which is a really cool production company in upstate Connecticut, I didn't really work, sorry. I technically interned there. My apologies. I got to work with the most incredible people. The specific person I worked for was this guy named Travis. Not only was he a sweetheart, super patient with me, but he pushed me really hard to fight for what I wanted. He always made it very clear to me that, especially that part of the industry, tended to be more male dominated. And this is not a rant about women versus men in the industry. I, overall, thankfully, did not experience sexism for 99.9% of my career. I had a lot of male mentors that just kind of told me the facts of the industry. It is male dominated in parts of it. And I need to not be, how do I say this in the right way? I need to just be a part of the team. There's no, I'm a woman and that's a man. There's, do your job really well, no one's gonna give two shits what gender you are. Yes, people have had different experiences. I'm speaking solely on mine. And I worked ridiculously long hours, harder than I probably ever worked in my life. And it was the greatest feeling in the world when a show went off without a hitch. The band sounded phenomenal because Travis was mixing them super well. Everything was ready in time. We just felt like a well-oiled machine. And I really wish I could have worked for him longer. Location-wise wasn't ideal to where I live now. But it just taught me you have to fight for what you want and nothing's ever going to be handed to you. He always warned me about people who'd make empty promises in the field. It was just a lot of being taught the real hard facts about the field, and he gave me the tools to succeed, and either I would fall on my face or I would take advantage of it, and I'd like to think I took advantage of it, and I learned so much. I miss them all every day because it taught me how much I need to respect those that bust their asses to put on a great show for these artists, or to help make a great show for these artists. I then had a great mentor and boss. She's this incredibly strong woman who felt the hardships of the industry early on, where she felt like she was hitting a wall, kept trying to get into this industry, kept facing rejection, and she overcame all that, and she is the vice president of marketing at a very big music company. She's incredible and always pushed me to not accept my comfort level, to always go beyond that. And that really, and she's not someone who's necessarily been in the industry for decades and decades, but she showed me what hunger looks like. And it's hard to not respect someone who you can feel is super passionate about this field and wants it more than they want anything else, and is willing to put in the long hours, the work, to face all the rejection and keep going. Then I had a mentor in audio engineering. He does the audio engineering for a church not too far, and he let me hang out with him a couple times. I would go on weekends. It was church. And I'm Jewish, for reference. But he would let me go and kind of learn the ropes with him just to get refreshers on stuff I had learned with Travis, but this one was closer in location. But what he taught me was different than the others. Not that he didn't reinforce some of those things as well, because there are overlaps. They're all incredible individuals who have kicked ass in this field. He taught me that there's no reason for me to step on someone to get to where I want to go. And that was super different from what other people might tell you. He's probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in this field, and wouldn't hurt a fly and couldn't hurt a fly. He showed me that if you're good at what you do and if you treat others properly, there is a much more likelihood of you getting far in this industry for an extended period of time. That's not to say there aren't awful people in this field. It's like any field. There are garbage human beings. But I think knowing that and seeing how far he's come and how hard he's worked, and not seeing him badmouth people or treat anyone like they're less than, especially someone newer to the field like me, that meant a lot. And it's made me recognize how lucky I am to be where I've gone in the industry. I ended up getting a job right out of college in my field, which most people never get to see. And I was even fortunate enough to make a choice later on in that job if I wanted to continue that or go into the creative side, which is why I'm here and why I do my own music on the side. But all of those little things taught me to respect each piece of this puzzle, taught me to respect every single person in this field, and made me realize I don't have to be a piece of shit to get where I want. That's mostly what I had experience with, because I hadn't faced much discrimination in terms of being newer in the field and having someone pretty much tell me I couldn't do the job. And then I recently had an experience not too long ago that somehow ended up relating to the video that I was going to film anyway. So I thought it was topical and made sense to share it with you. I had someone pretty much tell me that I hadn't made it in this field, and almost then equate my value to someone I'm dating. And while it's not what this is all about, it was almost a moment of, aha, that does exist still in this field. I've been very fortunate to have not had this happen with anybody else, and to have overall felt like I was respected even though I'm super new to this field. And I don't claim to know everything. This might be a channel where I try to put a lot of educational videos out for you guys that are about the music industry, but I don't know everything, and I'm comfortable in not knowing everything. I like the idea of being challenged all the time and learning more. So I find it's very weird, based on all the lucky moments I've had in this field getting to this point. It's so hard for me to have wrapped my head around someone who's been in this field so much longer than me and has an established career that would try to take a dig at me. I've had other friends in this field who have mentioned that they get a lot of pushback because they're so young in the field, or because they're brand new to their particular sect of the field. It's almost as if there are certain individuals who are maybe possessive or territorial of where they've gotten, and I think in some ways there are individuals who think that my generation in particular is not only disrespectful, but we feel entitled. I know that gets used a lot for millennials. And so I think there is maybe with some people a knee-jerk response when they see a young gun trying to push their way through, which I can in a way understand, but it's overall really harmful to this field. I get that there are limited jobs. I don't know if that's part of the issue. I don't know if some of it is they don't want people joining this field that come off as if they're better than everyone, which is fair. There are a lot of egos in the field to begin with. But I do think it's very bizarre when you have gatekeepers almost in an industry who say, you can't make it in this field if you don't have the thickest skin because everyone's gonna be a jerk and they're gonna say rude things about you and no one's gonna be nice to you and just make it easy on you. It's gonna be tough and you have to prove that you can handle that. I agree this field is hard. Even with the amount that I've been in the industry, which many would say isn't a crazy amount, but I've been in almost 10 years. About 10 years. And yeah, that's not long for a lot of people, but I'm also not crazy old, so I still have time. But even with all of my experience, I get how hard this industry is. I think most people do. I don't necessarily understand the pushback that some of us younger generation get on those that have been doing it a while. There's nothing more incredible than being embraced by someone I view as being the top at what they do and giving me that chance to learn from them. I respect those people so much. And I respect pretty much anyone I've ever thought of in this field. I've listened to podcasts. There's so many people who make up all the information I know in this industry, not just people I had hands-on experience with. And it kind of breaks my heart when I see people that have been in this field for a while trying to squash the dreams almost of newer individuals. I don't necessarily understand the whole reasoning behind it, and I just think at the end of the day it's really harmful. And a bummer to see in a field that is already so difficult to get into. I've had people approach me for advice with how I even got started, with how I got this internship, how I got that job, how I made connections, how I hustled to get where I am. I've had people ask me that, even at this small level that I'm in. I've had people ask me those simple things because I think when you have at least somebody take the interest in you and appreciate your initiative and show you support and try to push you up higher, I think that's super effective and can be life-altering for many. I know it was for me. I know if my early on mentors had treated me the way that I experienced most recently, or that I've had friends tell me they've been treated, I don't know that I would have felt as able to continue in this field. It's not an easy field. Yes, people are going to find every little thing to tear you down because they think that's the way to prep you for the rest of it. I just don't know that I look at it that way. I think I'm lucky in the sense that I was shown differently and I intend to continue treating people properly. And I do think at some point I will be further in this industry and feel vindicated that I stuck to my morals and guns and had really incredible people teaching me along the way to ensure that I turned out to be a decent human being at the end. This was long. I'm gonna have to edit this down a lot, but I really wanted to get that off my chest. I wanted to do this video on respect for a while, and after having more personal things happen, it felt more like the right time to share it. And this is in no way to be specific attacks or anything. I think it's more of a call to action to be better people in this industry. We don't have to treat each other like garbage. It's totally not worth it. We've seen enough in the mental health issues in this field, which will be its own video. But I hope you like this, guys. A little rambly, I usually am, but I promise I'll have another very informative video for you soon. And with that, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks. If you liked my really long, obnoxious, rambly video about things that I felt, click other stuff. They're probably less rambly, so you have that going for you. Click them.